The Dan Yorke State of Mind program is brought to you in part by Lookout Rhode Island and Takeo Comfort Solutions.
Welcome into my State of Mind. I am Dan Yorke on this Wednesday evening in what feels like the beginning of summer, since we've passed the Memorial Day weekend and are formally in the last few weeks of the spring. It feels like we've kind of crossed through a threshold of sorts, but the question becomes, have we really? As we move toward phase 2 on dealing with the COVID virus in both Massachusetts and in Connecticut, we're on different paces, so to speak, depending on the state. This weekend will be the first weekend for worship services to be reopened indoors, along with all the other phase 2 moves that Governor Raimondo has made here in Rhode Island. And last week we talked to the Assistant Chancellor of the Diocese of Providence about how the Catholics are going to handle it. Tonight we talked to Protestant and Jewish faith leaders who will join me coming up momentarily and discuss both the practical and spiritual side of their efforts to lead their own congregations. This fresh off, of course, President Trump's move on America and governors Friday before the Memorial Day weekend, where he demanded the church be open this last weekend. And if the governors didn't like it, he would overrule them. Of course, there's no constitutional basis for anything even close to that. That never really bothers our president now, does it? In the meantime, we'll focus again on this weekend's celebratory, perhaps, reopening. Not everybody is, you'll learn. And we'll touch base on how, where, and why when we come back on Dan Yorke's State of Mind. This is a program that we recorded yesterday, but it's fresh for you on this Wednesday night. Thanks for Zooming with me. We'll be right back. And to my State of Mind, it is great to have you aboard. As I told you in our open, we are trying to touch base with all the faith communities. Last week, we talked to the Diocese of Providence and the Assistant Chancellor there about how the whole thing was going to come down logistically and spiritually, right? Because the things that you do in a place of worship are tied to concepts and the like. And so I think it'll be enjoyable to touch base with a couple of other faith leaders here this evening. And with no further ado, let me just introduce you to them. Pastor Todd Stange is from Emanuel Lutheran Church in West Warwick, and Rabbi Ethan Adler is from Congregation Beth David in Narragansett. Gentlemen, you are each familiar with my producer, but have not met each other, so you're Zooming a new relationship. Here we go. It's great to have you aboard, and God bless you. Thank you very much for tuning in.
Thank you.
Joining me. Rabbi, on the bottom, let me start with you. Give me your 60-second version of where you've been in the business of serving your folks. When did you stop, and how have you been dealing with it?
We stopped around March when it became obvious that we couldn't hold services anymore. And so we immediately went to Zooming. We conducted services on Zoom at the regular time as we would have if we were face-to-face. We even had, early on, we had a community Seder for Passover where people Zoomed in. And then after we finished with the first part, we all had a meal. We stayed, we spoke to each other, we conversed, then we finished the Seder. That was pretty cool. I also have an every other month discussion group that we turn to every week, which became Zoom, and we've had tremendous success with that. We've been calling members more frequently than we have in the past, just to check up on them. And as we said, this Saturday we're going to attempt, we're calling it Saturday Morning Live. It's the first time we're going to try that. We are keenly aware of all the guidelines that we need to have, the 25% capacity. We'll be doing some singing, so we'll need to, I believe it's 14 feet apart, whatever it is. We've rearranged our service ceremonies in such a way that we minimize contact between people. And we're hoping to get maybe 20 folks who might be interested in trying it out. And we'll see if it works out, we'll continue. And if not, we'll hold off and give it some more time. But we are very, very anxious to meet face to face. I think it's important for people to return to the place of congregation.
Sure, I bet. Pastor, your version of experience, similar?
Yes, I think it was March 15th was the first service that we didn't have in person. And I think that was even before the governor kind of asked to kind of hold off on services. That was a tough decision. And we quickly went to doing the Zoom as well, holding worship. We usually have 2 services on Sunday. We went down to 1 service, so everybody could be together. And during Holy Week, we did the full. We do Monday, Thursday, Good Friday, and Easter Vigil on Saturday, and then the Easter Sunday celebrations. That was all done through Zoom. Sometimes there are people that have moved out of state but still have a connection with our congregation, and so it's been nice to have them on Sunday mornings and be able to participate. That is one of the advantages of kind of getting together on the computer.
So tell me, both of you, I mean, the poignancy of this COVID virus, landing in our laps during really important liturgical seasons, both the Easter season on the Christian calendar, and of course, with Passover being such an important, observation and celebration. It is, not only does it impact how we feel spiritually and religiously, but custom and family and things are just got busted up. Rabbi, give me a short gut check on how difficult that was.
It was very difficult because one of the hallmarks of the Passover holiday, for example, is family getting together. And because we had to do it through Zoom, we weren't able to spend it with children, grandchildren, and other family members. So we took a hit on that one. We have another holiday coming up this particular weekend, and again, we're separated. And the real tough thing to come to grips with is when things like this hit, our natural inclination is to be together with people, to seek the comfort of others. And yet, the very thing that's causing us to seek comfort in others is keeping us from seeking hugs and kisses and the physical contact of others. So that's been very, very difficult.
Pastor, same thing. I mean, right smack in the middle of Easter. It's crazy,
It was crazy. It meant we had to figure out all the technology and stuff kind of pretty quickly. So, but we had a great group of people, and people have been rising to the occasion. One of the things we did pretty quickly was to kind of set up a phone kind of chain for people to check in on each other in the congregation, see if anybody needed anything, and try to help them get connected with the services that are online.
Makes sense. All right, when we come back, folks, we're going to talk to the pastor and the rabbi about how they're dealing with the state's new regulations, specifically what kind of physicality changes, in both the synagogue, the temple, and in the church are going to happen, what the schedule may be, and then we'll get to some of the spiritual and liturgical connections to those things, and then just get a little bit of faith mindset from these worship leaders about where we are and where we're going. We'll be right back on Dan Yorke State of Mind. Stay with us. Welcome back to My State of Mind here on Meyer ITV and Fox Providence. It's great to be back in business, although but this is better than not being back in business. And again, this program is recorded the day before. We will get to same day Dan Yorke programs here sooner than later, we hope. In the meantime, I'm really pleased and honored to have a couple of faith leaders here. Pastor Todd Stange is from Emanuel Lutheran Church in West Warwick, and Rabbi Ethan Adler is from the congregation Beth David in Narragansett. Pastor, talk to me about the 25% June 1st weekend, well, actually May 30 weekend go that Governor Raimondo gave you the other day. Are you going to use it? Are you ready?
We're getting ready. We're not going to use it. We kind of made the decision a couple weeks ago to hold off until July at the earliest, knowing that restaurants and barbershops are going to be opening up. We wanted to kind of see how the coronavirus spreads and progresses as that happens. For us, we didn't really see any benefit to being kind of on the cutting edge of opening up church services. We have, as I said before, been worshiping using Zoom, and we've been getting good attendance on that. People coming in from even other states and stuff joining us. So our I guess a priority for us is to keep people safe. We want worship that nourishes people and promotes life. As part of loving our neighbors.
Okay, so you're going to be a little bit more patient with this thing, Rabbi. You already told us that you're going to start Saturday morning live. Does the spacing affect the liturgical aspect of service?
It does. It does, because we're a small congregation anyway, but we're limited to probably about 20 people, including me. So we have to come up with a way to allocate who's going to come, who's going to come, who's not, who's going to come at another time. We have to cut down on our music, because singing, we're going to try to limit that as well. So there's a whole bunch of limitations, but excuse me, what we found in our congregation, that people are really anxious to return. As much as they love Zoom, and we've had some services, we've had more participation in Zoom than in person, because people can Zoom in their jammies. They don't have to leave the house, But we have this sense from people that they are anxious to do that. So we have a whole committee that's working on it to make sure that, for example, we've got prayer books that will be in piles. So what we use one day, we're going to put it aside for a couple of weeks, use another pile. Sanitized chairs, bathrooms. When people come in, currently we have a box of yarmulkes that they can take, or prayer shawls. We're not going to do that anymore, so you have to bring your own. So it does impact it. But again, people are very anxious to do this live, and it'll be a learning experience, and we'll see. And obviously, safety, security, health is very much a priority. But
everybody's pattern is going to change here. I was joking last week with the assistant chancellor of the diocese. As a practicing Catholic, I always get a kick out of the idea that there are people who love their spots in church. They love their pews. They love to, some people are inside, some people are outsiders, meaning they like to be on the aisle. Stepping across them is always kind of a gas, on a regular Sunday. Who would ever think that would be a problem? But that'll violate social distancing and the like. I also joked with him that some parishes, like my own, which are generally pretty full, masses, 4 masses a week, get pretty full, that maybe I could scalp some tickets for charity outside. There's going to be that. They're actually thinking about getting tickets and making allocations and an online reservation system, and so it can get crazy that way. Pastor, any thoughts, funny or not, about the logistics of coming together that way that you're concerned about?
Well, the concerns we have is coming in and out of the sanctuary is a thing that's going to be tough. Also, the use of the bathroom. That's one of the areas where you have a bunch of people kind of congregating and potentially close together. So, and how do you clean that out on a regular basis? One of the things we're going to encourage people to go to the bathroom before they come to worship, which seems like an odd thing, but to try to cut down on the use in there.
Right.
It's listen, at this stage of the game, I'm always checking to see how long we're going to be and where the restrooms are anyway. No, it's really, 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 really urgent. Any other pure logistical stuff before we get to some of your faith leadership in our next segment, in your response to this virus and like, Rabbi, anything other logistics wise that you think is unique?
Yeah, one of the nice things about the face-to-face services is that we usually have refreshments at the end. And it's during these refreshments that collegiality and you talk to people and just friendliness. Often on a Friday night, for example, the services might be over at 9 and 10 o'clock, people are still schmoozing, as they say. Well, we can't do that. We can't do that. So services will be over. we're actually thinking of having people come in through one door and then exit through another. Kind of have to coordinate that as well. So there's a lot of coordination that has to be done in how we do things. But we'll go as we learn. And then again, I think there'll be a decision afterwards. You know, is it safe and is it worthwhile to continue or not? Right now, we think it is. We will know after Saturday.
Come back, some more bigger picture thoughts about moving forward as faith leaders. Right back on Dan Yorke State of Mind with my guests. I'll join you in a minute. To my State of Mind, Pastor Todd Stange from Emanuel Lutheran Church and Rabbi Ethan Adler from Congregation Beth David, Narragansett for the congregation and West Warwick for Emanuel. I want to get some of your spiritual leadership thoughts about dealing with the virus and everything else and get away from logistics. But there are a couple of ecumenical and liturgical things that people need to know and/or will be refreshed in learning. And, Pastor, in terms of mandatory attendance and Lutheran Church, has communion on a every weekly basis. What are you telling people about A, what they've missed, and B, how it's going to be going forward, and what they have to think about or worry about?
Well, we usually do have Holy Communion each Sunday, and it's a means of experiencing God's grace and love in kind of a very physical way. But I guess we're telling them that there's other ways. The Word of God, God's grace comes through that in the reading of the Bible and the preaching and the music, and sometimes fasting, from the Holy Communion makes us appreciate it even more.
I bet. Rabbi, is there a parallel in the Jewish faith in terms of things that are being done that have such a spiritual connection that there's pressure or worry about missing or longing for it?
There is longing. There's no pressure. We don't really have any specific rules that say you have to attend so many services, but people do want to be with us. And so we really haven't missed any services. They've all been through Zoom. So we have services a couple of Saturdays a month, just about every Friday, and Friday night at 8, Saturday morning at 9. We've had Zoom services at that time. We've even added a couple of services. So people certainly understand. And even this Saturday, when we have our live service, we're going to Zoom at the same time. So it'll be live and it'll be Zoom. So those who cannot make it or those who are uncomfortable will make it as well. So we try to fill the need as best as we can.
Tell me about your personal message to your congregation. What have you been saying about this virus and its connection to God? And with all the answers that all of us are looking for that are hardly available right now.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Well, for me, I don't have any answers because God didn't speak to me yet. But what we do tell our folks is that use this time to sharpen our values in terms of community, in terms of commitment to others, raise our compassion for people who are suffering either through illness or through death, to recognize that material possessions aren't really that important. And all of a sudden, being able to hug your grandchildren or kiss your sister becomes much more important than are the Red Sox going to open soon or not. And the true value of community, I think that has come through loud and clear. This particular Friday night, for example, we're going to have, it's traditional to have a Sabbath meal on a Friday night. So this Friday night, we're going to have a service, and then people are signing up. We are going to deliver food, suppers to families at no cost. So after our service on Friday night, we're all going to take our food and we're going to eat communally through Zoom. So again, it's going to satisfy that community need. So we can find a way, and the other thing I say to them is, we need to stop thinking about resuming our way of life, but rather reviewing and restructuring and reset because we're not going to go back to the way things were. I don't think so. So we'll find a new way to do old things.
And I've got about a minute and a half here, Pastor. Your faith message to your group.
Yeah, similar to what Rabbi Adler said. During these times when it's so uncertain, we don't know what the future brings. It makes it clear that we never really do, and how quickly one person's life can change, in a moment. So to appreciate the things that really matter and will ultimately last. That's what I'm telling them.
Mm-hmm.
As the rabbi said, though, we're going to go back, or we're going to go back a little differently. Every experience has changed us anyway, but this is going to be a big change. I don't know. I just wondered when this all ended, whether we'd all come, screaming back in, loading up churches, singing how great they are, and the Jewish parallel version of such. It's not going to happen that way. It's going to be a walk before you run type of situation. But we shall run our faiths again. Yes, or we are in a different trot.
We will.
Indeed.
We will for sure. We will for sure.
Thank you very much for your thoughts. The best of luck with you on your schedules. Saturday morning live, by the way, at Congregation Beth David with Rabbi Adler, and Pastor Stange is going to let you know right come July, and kind of be wary of what's going on out there and make a good decision. So
there you go.
Appreciate your advice on that, and we wish you the best, and God bless. Thank you for sharing your thoughts.
Thank you. Thank you. Take care.
Thank Pastor Todd Stange and our Rabbi Ethan Adler for their participation this evening. Check your local listings at the place that you worship to make sure that you got the logistics figured out and the spacing figured out. Got to crawl before we walk, but there's a celebration to be had this weekend, no doubt. Tomorrow night, John White Jr., the boss at Taco, talking about how he's managed the business, the economy, and thoughts on society. He always has them. That'll be tomorrow night right here on My State of Mind. Don't forget to tune in weekdays 3 till 6 on WPRO. Thanks so much for tuning in here. Good night.